These are individuals that have practiced in the province for 50 years. John Joseph Faruga, Bachelor of Architecture, Master of Architecture, OAA, MRAIC. Mr. Faruga was born in Toronto. In 1959, he graduated from the University of Manitoba with a Bachelor of Architecture. John was the recipient of the University Gold Medal for achieving the highest standing. Throughout John's school years, he was awarded a multitude of prizes, namely the Manitoba Association of Architects Prize for 3 consecutive years, as well as Mayor Findlay Design Prize and the Lighting Materials Design Prize. Upon graduation, John was engaged as a design assistant in the School of Interior Design at the same university, and with the award of a CMHC fellowship, obtained his Master of Architecture in 1960. After working with Gordon S. Adamson and Associates and receiving his license in 1962, John opened his own practice, John J. Faruga Architect, in 1964. The firm later incorporated as Faruga Associates Incorporated Architects in 1994. John retired from practice in 2006. John has been responsible for the design of many significant churches in the Greater Toronto Area, as well as private residences, schools, and special needs housing. John's major involvement has been in the design of healthcare facilities, including all aspects of patient care, teaching, and research. Many of these projects had to be innovative in their design as they accommodated new models for the design of ongoing alterations and major development continuously from 1965 to 2006. Other clients have included St. Joseph's Hospital, Our Lady of Mercy Hospital, Hospital for Sick Children, Toronto General Hospital, and many others. John's contributions have been extended to being a founding member of the St. Joseph's Hospital Research Foundation Board and a member to the hospital's Board of Directors from 1969 to 1982. He served as Director and Vice Chairman of the Ontario Hospital Association and Director of Hospital Council of Metropolitan Toronto, serving as the Chairman of the HCMT Planning Committee. The HCMT Planning Committee provided review and prioritization to the Ontario Ministry of Health for all capital project requests from the hospitals to Metropolitan Toronto. John also served as a director of the University Teaching Hospital Association. In his local community, John has been a member of the Town of Mono Heritage Committee, serving as chairman from 2003 to 2007, and currently a volunteer member of the Future Health Care Center Committee of Stevenson Memorial Hospital. Recently, John has established a new practice, Architecture Planning Healthcare Consulting Incorporated, which can provide consulting services to the healthcare community based on his planning and design knowledge and experience. Congratulations, John. Please come up for your flag. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very, very much. It's an honor.
Well, here, come in a little bit closer. Now, I understand you would like to say a few
I
words.
could say a couple words.
Yeah, please.
For 50 years.
Exactly.
I want to thank you for this recognition and your kind words. I'd like to take this opportunity to remember 3 of our past members who each played a significant role in my reaching this milestone. Forsey Page of Page and Steele Architects, who encouraged me to study architecture. Gordon Adamson of Gordon S. Adamson and Associates Architects, who after my graduation offered me employment at a time when jobs in the architectural profession were few and far between. And Michael Barstow of Mathers and Hollenby Architects, who when our two firms were engaged as equal partners in joint venture for the design of the new St. Michael's Hospital, took this neophyte under his wing and became a colleague, a friend, and a mentor, who freely shared his experience and knowledge about the practice of architecture, especially as it related to healthcare design. I want to also thank the OAA, its directors, and excellent staff for keeping track of my membership. I'm not certain that I was aware that I've been around here for 50 years. So I thank you again for this recognition, and I hope to see all of you back here when I receive my second 50th certificate in 2063.
Mrs. Gail Lamb, Bachelor of Architecture, OAA, member of the Royal Architecture Institute of Canada. Mrs. Lamb was born in Quebec City, May 5th, 1936. Gail's family moved to Montreal West when she was 6. In 1959, Gail graduated from McGill University with a Bachelor of Architecture from the Faculty of Engineering, since there was no Faculty of Architecture at that time. During university in her 5th year, Gail married her classmate, Wilfred Lamb. Gail and her husband, after graduation, worked with Belharry, Helmer, and Moran in Pembroke, Ontario. 2 years later, both qualified for membership in the OAA, and Gail received her license in 1962. After passing the Harold Moran at the firm where Gail and Mr. Lamb worked prompted them to move to London, where her husband became a partner with Peter Tillman. Gail's husband was elected to serve as president of the OAA in 1972, where Gail endured at the Royal York Hotel's frozen mint parfaits at many OAA functions. Left on her own professionally, Gail did small projects which eventually grew into larger projects. The majority of Gail's work was on churches and more recently long-term care projects. The many of Gail's project's clients have returned for additions to their original buildings, and that certainly speaks to her professionalism. On a personal note, Gail's office is located on a farm outside of Lucan, Ontario, where she has an equestrian training facility. She now rides about 4 times a week and also competes in the sport of dressage. Gail's 3 children are now grown and reside nearby. Like a good mother, Gail has designed homes for 2 of them. Congratulations, Gail Lamb. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I would.
Excellent.
It's always nice to be recognized, even if it's just lasting for this long. Things have changed a lot since I became a member. And when I did become a member, they gave me a little book, which I brought. And it was the first 60 years. It's not a very big book. And I'm hoping the book that you, and I'm going to give this to you as a guide, is a little bigger than this one. Have you ever seen this one?
No, I've never seen
No.
this.
So that was my start. A lot has changed, as most of you know. My first drawings were ink on linen. And of course, now we have computers. This was my first building code. And we have the compendium now. I can remember an early project where a contractor thought we could really save some money if we changed the insulation from 3.5 inches to 1.5. And now we have LEED. The nice thing that has happened is so many women in the profession now. When I entered into McGill, there were 5 women and all these men. We went to survey school, and there were 200 engineers and me. What I ended up with was, if the women understand this, what I ended up with was 500 big brothers. And I can remember standing on the steps of the engineering building with a young man commiserating with me that he really had a hard time talking to girls. And I said to him, "But you're talking to me." He said, "But you're not really a girl." Today is especially meaningful to me because you're also welcoming new members into the profession. They are the hope for the future of our profession. And one of those being welcomed is Sonia Diaz. Sonia knocked at my door at the farm some 10 years ago. She was an architect from Columbia and would work for nothing. Nobody works for me for nothing. Maybe next to nothing, but not nothing. So I hired her. And I'm hoping that she will take over the firm, and then I might consider retiring eventually. Thank you.
Ronald J. Milne, Bachelor of Architecture, Ontario Association of Architects, member of Royal Architecture Institute of Canada. Mr. Milne cannot be with us today, but I'd like to take a moment to read his citation. Mr. Milne graduated with a Bachelor of Architecture from the University of Toronto in 1960. Ron later received his license from the OAA June 20th, 1962, and has been practicing now for over 50 years. Ron has been involved in a multitude of projects, both at home and abroad. Some of the locales where Ron has left his mark globally in many countries, including Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Papua New Guinea, Sri Lanka, Egypt, Hong Kong, and Japan. In his early years as an architect, Ron worked with Gordon S. Adamson and Associates on his first hospital being Stevenson Memorial in Alliston, as well as at the Seaway Authority building in Cornwall, considered to be one of the first rain screen buildings constructed. Ron was later contracted by CETA, supported development, to the Malaysian broadcasting facilities in Kuala Lumpur. Working outside of his profession, Ron became a managing director of aircraft operations for FBO in Malaysia and Indonesia, where he assisted in perfecting the cloud seeding operations. On less adventurous but rewarding note, Ron found time to serve as a member of the Architects Association of New Brunswick Council, as well as PAM, another Malaysian council. Other firms where Ron has worked include N.J. Pappas and Associates, where he was employed for 20 years up until 1986 as a resident architect. From there, Ron served as an associate at Tillman Ruth, Mouselin for the next 14 years, and in 2000 became a contract administrator with Murphy Hilgers. Currently, Ron works as a resident architect with Stantec in Toronto. Congratulations, Ron. Stephen A. Stephenson, Bachelor of Architecture, Ontario Association of Architects, member of the Royal Architecture Institute of Canada. Mr. Stephenson cannot be with us today, but will read his citation. Mr. Stephenson was born in Montreal and graduated from McGill University in 1958, where he received his Bachelor of Architecture. Stephen has been a registered architect in Ontario for over 50 years, receiving his license with the OAA September 21st, 1962. As a member of the Royal Canadian Air Force, Stephen was posted to Station Sea Island, Vancouver, as the Chief Engineering Officer. He remained there for a year and was transferred to the architectural branch in Ottawa, where he worked on many military projects as a project manager. Stephen became a member of PQAA, now known as OAQ, as well as the Royal Architecture Institute of Canada in 1962. Stephen left the RCAF prior to amalgamation in 1963 and became associated with Hazel Grove, Lithwick, Lambert Architects for several years. In 1967, Stephen joined the firm of Alicante, Liff, Stephenson as a partner, where he was responsible for elementary and high schools and projects for the federal government. In 1977, Stephen branched off to his own firm, S.A. Stephenson Architect Incorporated, and as a member of PQAA, designed about 10 offices and a bank building for a client in Brossard, Quebec. In 2009, Stephen became a member of the Manitoba Association of Architects for a single project in Thompson, Manitoba. Stephen's practice in Ontario entailed design of schools, hospital additions and renovations, medical centers, and various projects for the federal government. Congratulations, Stephen Stephenson. So that concludes the certificates of long standing.